This is an interview with Rosemary Wagner for the Youngstown Historical Center of Industry and Labor oral history project titled Women at Work. The interview is being conducted at the Youngstown Historical Center of Industry and Labor, known as the Steel Museum, on Monday, January 23rd, 2023. My name is Susan Lowry. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. How are you doing today?
I am well, thank you.
That's good. Okay, we just have some introduction questions here. Where did you and your family live when you were growing up?
My parents owned a small hobby farm out in New Waterford.
New Waterford. Where's that close to?
It's just outside of Columbiana, just
Okay.
30 minutes south of here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And what did your parents, you said I was going to ask, what did they do? You said it was a hobby, what?
Well, it was a hobby farm, but no, we weren't farmers.
Okay.
No, my dad was a pharmacist.
Oh,
and my mom raised 11 kids. I am the last of 11.
Wow. That's a lot of work.
It is.
Can we interview her?
Alas.
So where did you go to high school then?
I went to high school at Colonel Mooney.
Okay, and what year did you graduate?
1997.
97. And what was your first job after you graduated?
My first job was at Franco's in the Farmore building.
Franco's in the Farmore building?
Yes, it was a little food court place.
Oh, my lands. So what made you get into pipe fitting?
Well, my big dream was to be a chef. And I had a great plan. I was going to go to Johnson & Wales, learn how to cook. I was going to work for a 5-star restaurant or a cruise ship. I was going to live the American dream. Party like a rock star. No. I ended up getting pregnant young. But then I'm like, okay, I could still do this. I could do sous chefs at some high-end restaurants, get in there, get on the line, and I could still do this.
Yeah.
But that takes too long.
Yeah.
It takes too long. And I had a horrible fight with my ex-husband. It was over money, of course, because neither one of us, in your early 20s, you're not making a lot of money. But I'm like, by this time I had 2 girls, and I'm like, I have to raise my children.
Yeah.
But I need money to do that, to do it well. Or, no, not even to do it well. I just felt like I needed more money.
Yeah.
So I saw an interview for a welding school. I got cleaned up. I went down. It was a 7-month program. They had financial aid. There was a retired union pipe fitter teaching at the school, and he was salting salting meaning just putting out the union message. And he told all of us to go down to the hall when we're done and apply as a pre-apprentice and see about getting into the apprenticeship. Well, I finished my weld school. I went to a job fair. I had 2 tests lined up. One for a plant that did like aluminum fabrication and another one that did stainless steel fabrication. Well, I was out early, about 3 o'clock. I'm driving down now. Mind you, this was in Jacksonville, Florida. And I saw the exit for Cassett Avenue, and I'm like, oh, that's where that hall Rufus was talking about. And I got off on the exit. I went to the hall. And there was this short, balding man with a big nose and a red face and greatest smile. He shook my hand, and he's like, I'm Jamie Johnson. How you doing today? I'm like, good. He's like, can you pass a piss test? Like, yes, sir. He's like, can you be here at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning? Yes, sir. And he wrote down this address on a piece of paper. He's like, you go down to this address, you're going to pee in a cup, and they're going to give you a piece of paper. You bring me that piece of paper tomorrow morning. Be here dressed for work at 7 a.m. So I did it.
Wow.
I blew off those weld tests. And they sent me to work on the plumbing crew at Jacksonville Baptist Hospital.
Holy smokes. Okay.
And I fell into it. Now I love to weld. Welding is hands down the favorite thing that I do. But I didn't know how much more there was to love about my craft.
Yeah.
So the hospital was, I love the physical work of it. I really love it. It was so hard. It was so hard. But especially just starting. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what channel locks were. I had not a clue.
Right.
But I learned how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's more than eager to teach you. And I learned and I grew and I got better. I got stronger. And I loved the plumbing aspect of it. I love to solder. I love to braze. I even love the smell of PVC glue. It's great. Yeah, I just kind of fell into it by luck.
Wow, that's fantastic. And then the job description, like, can you give me like a typical day? You go in 7 a.m. What is the first thing you do? What's your hours like when you're doing it too? Like, just kind of a typical day.
Okay, so typical 40-hour job is 7 to 3:30. Mm-hmm. You go in, you walk up, your foreman gives you your job. Just lines you out. All right, where's the material? Let's gather up the tools. Let's find our material. We have to build a spool piece. Let's say we need some 6-inch pipe. We need a couple of flanges, a couple of 90s. Our foreman and another hand probably went out earlier, the day before, got some measurements. Okay, let's cut this. Let's weld. And spool piece is done. Okay, let's put this in.
Okay.
Basically, that's all
it.
there is to it.
Yeah.
Okay. The pipe goes from here to there.
And you attach it.
And we make it go.
Okay.
We make the pipe go where it needs to go.
So you were in that hospital in Florida at the time. So you would go into the building and just like it was be plumbing, just any type of. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so with plumbing on a new construction job, basically it is. They're not normally a foreman wouldn't get measurements. You'd take them into the field yourself.
Okay.
But yeah, we got a drain here. It has to go down over to there, and you make it work.
Okay. So other than plumbing, what other type of pipe?
Oh, there's steam, there's hydraulics. There's oils and acids and all kinds of things.
I understand.
A lot of the piping is, especially in industrial work, is heating and cooling and steam.
Okay.
Okay. Machines need to be cooled. Some things need to be kept warm. Things of that nature.
I see. Now, did you ever come into a situation like something was too heavy and you couldn't lift it up? Was there a situation like that or similar?
Well, most of the time, you really shouldn't be lifting anything more than 50 pounds without mechanical assistance.
Okay.
Okay. Can I lift more than 50 pounds and carry it from here to there or up to a certain height by myself? Yes. Should I ask for help if it's a little awkward? Yes, I should. Why? Not because I'm a girl. You should do it because for ergonomics and for safety.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
A man can hurt his back just as easy lifting 50 pounds as a woman can. Okay. Most of the time I can say, hey, can you give me a hand with this? Mm-hmm. And there is no problem.
Did you ever run into problems though?
I did. I was 5 months pregnant. I was working at on a school job, doing on a plumbing crew, and there were these short. They weren't very big. It was oxygen and acetylene bottles. They were just little guys. They weren't the full bottles. Well, my foreman asked me to bring them from the second floor down the stairs and out across the field to a storage connex. Well, he had been complaining that I took too long to do things. I was a third-year apprentice, and I told him, John, I can take these bottles downstairs, and I can take them across the field to the connex. But I'm going to let you know now, it's going to take me a little while, because I am going to have to pause.
And he knew you were pregnant?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he knew.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you were keeping it on the DL for some reason.
No,
Okay.
no. I want to say he was a general foreman or a superintendent. He was a little butthurt that I didn't tell him first. Bless his heart. I don't think he meant anything by it, but it didn't sound like it. It sounded like he felt a certain way.
Yeah.
But anyway, my foreman got flabbergasted. He's like, oh, fine. Shuffles. Grab these bottles, bring them out to the connex. You go do that. Basically, the man tormented me until I begged for a layoff. I kept having to go down. So the building was kind of long, and there's a stairwell on each side. Okay. So I'd be working on this end, the second floor. The stairwell was blocked off. The iron workers had work to do there, so they red taped it off. They're doing work there. I can't use that stairwell. There was one porta-john on the job. I'd have to walk all the way across the hall, down the stairs, and then I'd have to walk all the way back across to go and answer nature's call. And I'll tell you what, when you're 5 months pregnant and you're in a dry, dusty building, you get thirsty making that walk.
That's right.
So he told me if I drank less water, I wouldn't have to pee so much.
Oh my goodness.
And then I found out he was urinating in Gatorade bottles that he hid behind the gang box.
Oh my lands.
I went to get something out of the gang box, and I saw him. He was behind another gang box urinating in a bottle. I heard it. And he's like, oh, well, when you're old and sometimes you can't make it down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Oh, yeah.
That's hard.
It was a slap in the face.
And like you said, you were a third-year apprentice by then.
Yes.
After a couple of years, I would say you have at least proven yourself that you could do the job. And for them to just, yeah.
And like you said, I don't know what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't like apprentices, which he does have a reputation for not liking apprentices.
Okay.
Or if he doesn't like women, or if he especially dislikes women apprentices.
Or maybe just pregnant
Or
women apprentices.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that was definitely a challenge, and
it was sad.
It
and
forced you into a layoff sooner than you wanted.
Oh yeah. I did not want to be. I wanted to at least get a couple more months of work, and had I had better support, I could have. But in the end,
Yeah.
you know what? It's his karma, not mine.
That's
and at
right.
the end of the day, it's just money.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, the Hall was very supportive. They covered a couple of my self-payments that I had to make because I was off and I wasn't working and putting into my health and welfare. Someone
Nice.
at the Hall covered my self-payments.
Were there women working at the Union Hall
Oh,
as
yeah,
well?
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
they had that, connection there, so it made sense.
So once I asked for the layoff, there was nothing the Hall could do. They laid me off. It was a clean layoff. I got my unemployment.
Okay.
But they knew that the circumstances were messed up, and that's how they kind of helped out the way they could.
That's awesome.
And it was. I mean, this is 15 years ago, and the kindness that someone thought of me to do that, I don't even know who it was.
Oh, wow.
They just did it.
That's awesome.
Because, so on one hand, yes, I have met some of the scummiest human beings that there are on the earth. Like, really bad. But then I have met so many more wonderful men and women out there, sisters and brothers that will give you the shirt off their back and not ask any questions.
Yeah.
Not a one.
Yeah.
One time I was traveling in Morgantown, West Virginia. My working partner was John Potterdale. I love this man. I love him so much. It was maybe my second or third job out of town. I was still fresh out of the apprenticeship. I was like just a journeyman. And I'm out of town working. It was the Longview Powerhouse in Morgantown, West Virginia. And my brakes went out on my car.
Ooh.
My apartment wasn't far from where John was staying. And I asked John, I'm like, John, I need to take my car to a shop. Can you pick me up and get me to work for the next couple of days? Sure thing, sis.
That's awesome.
It wasn't a $500 brake job. They had to do like calipers and rotors and other crap, and it was way more money than I even had in my pocket. John looked at me, he's like, girl, you got to set yourself up better next time. He lent me the money to get my car fixed. And then when payday came, of course, I paid him back because, well, he knows how much money I'm making.
Yeah.
We make the same amount of money. We're working the same amount of hours.
Yeah.
But he did it. And he didn't have to. He didn't even know me. He worked with me for like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Like, I am a total stranger to this man. And he was so kind.
Wow.
And it was like, that's my big brother.
Yeah. Are you still in contact with him?
I have not spoken to John in a while. I did work with his boys.
Oh, how nice.
It was great. The first time I met Justin, I was working in Salem, Massachusetts in 2018. I have heard so much about John and Justin and Brent, and I just, he told me all about his boys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I saw it on the lunchbox, Totterdale, and I'm like, how many Totterdales are there? And sure enough, it's her dad, John. He's like, Rose.
Nice. Oh, that is so cool. I love it.
It was so great. It was so great.
Yeah.
And but I'm Facebook friends with Brent and Justin, and
Nice.
yeah. And,
oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
They're hands down top notch.
I was going to say, so their father John,
yeah.
raised them well as well.
Oh, he did.
That's great.
They and then there's brother Hillbilly. He's out of Toledo. I don't know. He just wanted to be my friend and my big brother.
Yeah.
That's every Sunday we'd have family dinner.
Oh, wow.
Because we were out on the road.
Yeah.
So we'd have family dinner.
Yeah.
And, myself and some other people from the job would go to his place, and we'd go and we'd make family dinner. And we'd have some beers and share some laughs and bitch about our foreman, and it was great. It was so great.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's the Johns and the Hillbillies and
that make it worth it. Yeah.
Because the people that make it hard are miserable themselves. And honestly, I feel sorry for those people. I get angry. I get frustrated. I get hurt when I'm treated like a second-class citizen in something I've worked very hard for. And when I see men that are just as or less skilled than me being put on a pedestal just because they're men. It's a slap in the face. But at the same time, I have great sisters like Marcia and Tara and Pebbles and Patty, and I just they're like, you know what, Rose, and they remind you, Rose, he's ignorant, he's foolish. Rose, just, you're okay.
Do you have to do that for them sometimes, though, too?
We do it for each other.
Right? Okay.
We do.
Yeah.
We really do. And, but honestly, being treated poorly as a worker is not a gender-specific thing. I see men treated very badly also. Just because they're a little weird, they're a little goofy. Some of them have nose piercings or ear gauges, and they're judged for that. I mean, just because any little thing can trigger someone to think this person is not worthy of me being decent to.
Yeah.
And the more I'm in it, the more I see that no. Those slaps in the face aren't just because I'm a girl.
Okay.
They happen all across the board. I have seen men that work so hard and don't get the recognition they deserve.
Wow.
I see people that are hunting or fishing buddies or relatives of or drinking buddies with that are given perks and higher status just because they're someone's hunting and fishing buddy.
Okay.
And it's not just in labor. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care if you're a lawyer or a doctor, a laborer, an electrician. That's kind of how things are.
Yeah.
And you look around, you think about it. Yeah, it is. It's not gender specific.
Yeah.
It's a society thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I just take the good with the bad. I just take the good with the bad.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
no, that's just great. Not a problem. I love it. So I can't remember how this works when you're a journeyman and an apprentice, but is it by seniority? Is there open positions? Did you move up in the job for those positions? How does that work exactly then?
Okay.
Because I know it's a little different than, say, like an office job.
Yes. Okay. So trade unions are a little different than other unions.
Okay.
We work off of a list.
Okay.
Okay. There's a working list and an off list. Okay, so if you have a job, you're on the working list. If you don't have a job, you're on the off list. All right, a call for a job will come in and they go off the list. And and it's just work. Foremen are appointed by general foremen who are appointed by the contractor.
Okay.
Okay, so the hall does not determine those positions.
Okay.
The contractor does. And it's, like I said, the contractor, sometimes they'll just take the first guy on the job. Okay, you're the general foreman,
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's, for me personally, positions of foreman and general foreman, superintendent, those kind of positions, although they make moderately more money,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really not a lot. I'm very content being a worker bee.
Okay.
I have no desire to run a crew.
Okay.
I have no desire to run 10 crews, and I have no desire to run a job. The pay for the stress and the things that you have to deal with, I don't think is worth it. And my hats go off to those men that do put on that foreman hat,
Mm-hmm.
and that do put on that GF hat. Because for the couple more bucks an hour, and that is what it is.
Wow.
It's a couple more bucks an hour.
Yeah.
They have to do the paperwork. There's so much organizing and planning
Mm-hmm.
to go into it, whether, regardless of general foreman or foreman status, that I'm just not into that. I know my lane. I know my lane.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not something I feel comfortable with.
But, okay, so apart from you, though, do you know some women that will
yeah.
take that? Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. No.
And they're probably really good at it because, like you said, they have to organize and work.
Because they are good at that stuff.
Yeah.
They are good at that stuff. As a matter of fact, well, I had my turn in the barrel as a foreman too. I didn't like it. No. Actually, I think I've known all of my sisters in my local hall to have been foremen or general foreman at one point in their career.
Okay.
On different jobs.
Okay.
And they do well. And I would work for them any day of the week because I do kind of like how they run things.
Yeah.
I really do. And they're easy to work for.
Mm-hmm.
And they're understanding and they communicate well, which is a huge thing. I love a foreman that communicates well.
Mm-hmm.
And yes. And but I'm not saying that all women communicate well,
Mm-hmm.
but I have never worked for a woman that didn't. I have worked for men that communicate well.
Mm-hmm.
I have worked for men that communicate very well, and they line up the work, they plan the work, they work the plan, and I love working for those guys.
Yeah.
I have also worked for men that do not communicate well, and I just like working for them.
Yeah.
And that's all right.
That's all right.
In 6 months, I won't have to look at their face.
So you had mentioned about the off list and the work list.
Yes.
If you're on the off list, how do you get onto the work list?
Okay, so a contractor puts in a call.
Okay.
All right. Let's say Western Reserve Mechanical needs 2 fitters and a welder.
Okay.
Okay. Well, now we do have a job call line. You call the number. Western Reserve Mechanical is looking for 2 fitters and 1 welder. And this call will be dispatched at 8 a.m. Monday morning. You go down to the hall at 8 a.m. on Monday. Let's say 10 guys show up.
Okay.
Okay. He'll read down the list and, all right, John, Joe, Schmo. No. Oh, Dave. Do you want the fitter or the welder call? Oh, I'll take the fitter call. Chris, Fred, no, Rose. Oh, I want the welder call.
Of course.
Do you have your stainless cert? No, sir. Do you want the fitter call? Yes, sir. I'll take the fitter call. And then he'll go down the list and yeah. Eric, yeah. You got your stainless cert? Yes. You want the welder call? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So
you could go to the hall and end up going back home because...
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You other 3 guys, bye.
Wow, okay.
Call's filled.
Huh.
And then you wait for the next call.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next call could come in the very next day.
Yeah.
So somehow, some way, you always got a job.
Sometimes there'll hopefully it'll be like this again, but I've been to a job call where there were 3 different contractors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That needed hands. And they just went down and, if you were on that top of the list, you got to pick what contractor you went with and what position, if you were a welder or a fitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see here. How about minority workers by chance?
Oh.
Is there a lot of minorities and did they get treated equally and you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So,
okay.
Minorities are a minority in the trades. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, I was...
Would you consider, let me ask this real quick. When we say minorities, though, we are the blacks, African American.
Don't forget the Latinos and the Asians and...
Okay, thank you, yes. But does that, in the trades then, though, is women also considered minorities?
Yes.
That's what I wanted to clear up.
Yes,
okay,
women
very
are also
good.
a minority, yes.
So not just you yourself as a woman, but ethnicity, there is some minorities there in the trade. Okay. And did you see any challenges that they had to face? Or is it just like you were saying before, there were some men even that got the short end of the stick as well?
Yeah.
So it's
they're
just
a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because some people are just assholes. Sorry. But yes, that's...
Yeah.
It's sad, but honestly, when people mistreat me, I have to stop thinking it's because of my breasts. Mm-hmm. It's because they're a dick. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with me.
Okay.
And it gets me through. It gets me through all that pain, that frustration, and that anger. But yeah, no. I know a couple of black men that have had to fight tooth and nail to be like, dude, I'm here. I have certs. I am capable. Quit putting me second tier.
Okay.
And I say, good for them. Mm-hmm. You stand up, you open your mouth, and you say, hey, I am not a second-class citizen.
Right.
And
does that usually work when they stand up for themselves?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I mean, I think that's part of it too, is you just have to stand up and say, dude, I work hard.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it. And, but yeah, there's always challenges.
Yeah.
And, but you know what? That white guy, that foreman, that really, really plans carefully and methodically to save the contractor money, to save the customer money. He gets passed up for bonuses too. And, Maybe it's because he's not someone's drinking buddy. Maybe it's because someone else took credit for his work because they're not reputable people, or because they're greedy.
They're out there. I get it.
You know, the problems that we have in our society transcend gender and ethnicity. They're just about basic human concepts on how you have to treat people.
Yeah, I agree.
And but I am grateful for my local union, because my union sticks up for me. He makes sure that the white woman, the black man, and I don't think we have an Asian man in our local, but if we did, guess what? We'd all get paid the same amount of money.
I see.
Because we're all there at 7 a.m. And we work we work our shift, and we work hard to build, fix, replace, or repair whatever it is we're working on. And whether it's hobbling the Coke battery to maintain its life, or it's building a brand new battery plant or powerhouse, we all work hard to get those jobs done.
Right.
And we do get paid to do it, and we get paid enough to provide a decent lifestyle for our families. And
I see. Speaking of families, then, that was one of my other kind of questions. Were there any challenges with your spouse and your children being oh I didn't mean for it to be funny, but
oh, challenges?
Okay, so challenges? Is this a good topic? Please share.
Oh, all right. So I found out I was pregnant. I was a third-year apprentice.
Okay. Is this baby number 1 or baby number 2?
This is baby number 3.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If I had $1 for every time, you know, I had to say, hey, kids don't have school today. I don't have a sitter. I can't come in today. And I'd come in, well, look, someone had to watch the kids. It was I took off work or my husband took off work. It's my turn to take off work this time. He's like, well, if you kept your legs closed.
Ooh.
I have heard that so many times.
Wow.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have had kids. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've heard it so many times, you know. And maybe you should have just stayed home with the kids, like, forever.
Oh, yeah.
You
wow.
know, it's just like, all right, you know, I'm glad your wife doesn't have to work. But
yeah.
But yeah, so I worked until I was 5 months pregnant, had the baby. I took 6 weeks off. I will say it is one of the hardest things to nurse your baby in the morning and then shove him into a car seat, take him to daycare, and then go to work.
Wow.
However, I will say that but again, for every man that has said you shouldn't have had kids, I've also had men. Look, Rose, it's just a janitor's closet, but it's the cleanest place in the steel mill. You could go pump your milk there.
Just the difference of some men, you know?
It's well, the difference in some people in power. I was actually a telemarketer for a short period of my life. I'm not proud, but hey, it paid the bills.
Right.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But I asked if there was an office. I worked the 3 to 11, and I asked if there was an office where I could express my milk. And my woman boss said, no, they're all locked for the evening. So, I was 20. I was 20 when this was with my first daughter. I was 20 years old. I would, on my breaks, I would lay a towel out in the handicap stall in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I was too broke to buy a pump. I milked myself like a cow into a bowl on the floor on a towel in the handicap stall of a bathroom. And
wow, what an experience there.
Yeah, my woman boss would not provide me an office to pump my milk in. However, that was 23 years ago.
Yeah.
I know how old my daughter is. But that was 23 years ago.
Yeah.
The battery plant that we're building right now, it has a nursing mother's room.
How about that?
It is so freaking awesome.
That's
I was
nice.
actually talking to a good friend of mine that's an electrician. One of their apprentices just had a baby, and guess what she gets to do? She gets to go to the nursing mom's room and express her milk.
That is exciting. That's good. I love
so
that.
Excited.
Right, that's so refreshing. That's so nice that you, even though you didn't get to experience that, you could be so happy for somebody else who does.
I am so
right?
psyched. I am so psyched. And like, so some of these places, they just don't have it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was at the old V&M side at the steel mill there.
Yeah.
All they had to offer me was this janitor's closet.
Yeah.
Okay. It had some boxes that were stacked up that I could set my stuff on, and I could stand there and I could get
you had some privacy too.
I had some privacy. It wasn't chock full of, just dust and grit.
Yeah.
There was an empty trailer on one job that I expressed in, and then there was another job where I did have to go in the bathroom, but it was big. It had a counter, and there were only like 2 other women on the job, so it's not like it was packed at break and at lunch, so I could express. I did have privacy for the most part. In fact, there was this great gal, Lorraine. She'd come in, she'd talk to me, and it was so weird, just because by this time I had 3 kids and all your semblance of modesty's gone.
Yeah.
I was just kind of just standing there. Just by this time, I could afford an electric pump, though.
Yay!
Upgrades and
wow!
All.
Yay!
And but yeah, she, I'd be expressing my milk, and we would just chit and chat about the job, and we'd laugh and we'd cry, and it was great. I loved it.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful.
I love Lorraine. She makes me smile all the time.
Oh my lands! Oh, but so you're currently married now?
Yes.
And you have 3 kids total?
Yes.
One is 23.
Yes, I have a 21-year-old daughter, and I have a 15-year-old son.
Fantastic. Okay. Yes. And they love it that you're a pipe fitter? Do they like that you have that type of job? And do they want to maybe even pursue that later on themselves?
Okay, so my 21-year-old is actually considering joining the electricians union.
That's good.
She went to tech school to be an EMT.
Oh.
She had a bad back injury, and she's like, "Mom, I don't think this is the life for me." I'm like, you know what? Consider being an electrician.
Yeah.
And so she's feeling out some other things, but she is considering it. My oldest is a lieutenant in the U.S. Army. She's in Kuwait right now.
Ooh.
And I know my baby's so far away.
Did they make you a grandma at all yet?
My 21-year-old has a 4-year-old son, and he is the joy in my life.
Oh, of course. Oh, that's wonderful. Fantastic.
And my daughter has kicked around the idea of going into the skilled trades after the Army. But she also does have a degree in human resource management, so she could go that route too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. My daughters know that going into the trades is an option for them.
Yeah.
That'll provide them a good living,
Yep.
provide a decent lifestyle, and make them self-sufficient and not dependent.
Right. Exactly.
So they know that. The happiest day in my life was when my son said, "Mom, could you teach me how to weld?"
Oh. Now, you said your husband also is a pipe fitter.
Yes.
Okay. How many years have you been married to him?
We have been together 18 years. He was with me when I opened my acceptance letter for the apprenticeship.
Oh, okay.
He would watch the girls. We were just dating at the time. He would watch the girls while I went to class. And he was actually a non-union carpenter on the hospital job.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is that how you guys met?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was holding the ladder for my journeyman. And this large, bald man with a red goatee came at me, and he's like, "Are you guys the one punching holes in my drywall with a hammer?" And I'm like, "Talk to my journeyman." And he's like, "Look, if you need to make a hole in the drywall," he pulls out the drywall saw out of his pouch. He hands it to me. He says, "Use this. Just quit knocking it out with a ball peen hammer." And he's like, "Make sure I get this by the end of the day."
Okay.
All right. Well, we started having lunch together at work. Months. Every day we'd eat lunch together.
Oh my goodness.
And then he'd ask me out on a date. And I told him I was so proud of myself, mind you.
Yeah.
Because me and this other woman I worked with figured it out that my VCR would work if we turned it upside down. That's it. I don't know why. I don't understand it. But if you flip the VCR upside down, it would work.
Okay.
So the kids could watch their VHS movies.
Okay.
And he couldn't stand that I was using some ragtag upside down VHS machine.
Yeah.
So he bought me a DVD player.
Nice.
And Monsters, Inc. and Barbie of Swan Lake.
Oh my, how thoughtful.
Yes. And then I was kind of dating some other people. We weren't exclusive, you know, and I was supposed to, I set up my first 3-day weekend vacation. I wasn't going to have the kids. I was going to go camping, and I was going to have a great time. I was going to go with this guy, and he bailed on me because there was a hurricane coming. But this is Labor Day weekend, and this is my first planned 3-day weekend. Like, I was really proud of myself that I was going to pitch a tent and have like a great weekend. And Rob's like, "I'll go with you."
Oh.
I'm like, "You would?" He's like, "Yeah, come on." So he's over at my house, and we're packing up. We're getting ready to go. And my ex-husband comes up with the kids. He says, "Rose, I can't have the kids this weekend." I'm like, "Okay. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal." So I'm like, "Okay, I got the kids." And, all right. And Rob's like, "Hey, it's no big deal. We got this." We went to Walmart. He got them their own pink little tent.
Oh my
and their
goodness.
own little Barbie little sleeping bags. And we all went camping.
Wow.
And then, and honestly, so the first part of the trip was great. It was beautiful. And then the sun went down, and then it started to pour terribly. It was just torrential downpours.
So was this the hurricane?
This was, yes. we were on the outskirts of it. We were on the outskirts of it. But we got some heavy rain.
Oh, my lands. I can't imagine. That was a trip.
Oh,
to remember.
It was so great. It was so great. And I don't know. I was just kind of hooked on him after that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think I would have too.
I was just kind of hooked on him.
Yeah.
And the girls loved him. They called him Robbie Rob.
Oh my goodness.
And then they called him Daddy Rob. And then they just called him Dad.
Right. I have another question though then about Rob. When you had that issue when you were 5 months pregnant, how did he feel about that? Was he angry? Did he just kind of like, it is what it is?
So Rob was in the fitters at that point.
Okay.
Rob was very angry. But he says, Rose, I can't fight your battles. You do have to fight your own battles. If you need my support, I will back you up 100%. But I can't fight it for you.
Yeah.
He's like, you have to stand up for yourself. And, all right. And he still reminds me to this day when I pass up an opportunity to stand up and say, look, you're just wrong. And that's how it is. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I just keep my mouth shut, turn my head, and I keep walking. And I'm just figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
But Rob and I, now that he is in the fitters, so I finished my apprenticeship, and then the following year, Rob started his. He saw it. I mean, I love the fitters union. It is really great. We have an excellent rate. I love the work we do. I really love the work we do. And he got in, and he's a great hand.
Yeah.
I don't work with him, but
is that by choice or it just happens to work out that way?
A little bit of both. So they buddied us up at the new V&M, the V&M 2 side. He was a second year apprentice. We were buddied up for about 6 months, which is about 5 months and 28 days longer than anyone thought it would last. But just at first it's all, oh, I love you, you get my bucket, you got my rock caddy, I love you. And then it's F you, F this. Oh, did I drop that branch right next to you? I'm sorry, baby. And and we decided we needed to see other fitters. Because we wanted to stay married.
That's good. That's good.
Because we do love each other.
Yeah.
So for a short term, I don't mind working with him, but as in all day, everything, when I wake up when I wake up with my working partner and I work all day with my working partner and then I have to make dinner and go to bed with my working partner, that's a little too much.
Yeah.
So, but no, we have worked together off and on for a day, a couple of days, maybe a week, but they don't buddy us up.
Right. That makes sense.
Well, and it's not just because of personalities in marriage. There's also other things to consider. What happens if the crane tips over?
Ooh.
And something's pulled down and Rob gets crushed? What if I'm his working partner right next to him?
Right.
Our kids lose both their parents all in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
It's a reality, and it can happen. There were 4 Boilermakers. I want to say 2 of them died at Bruce Mansfield. Now, mind you, this was, 5-6 years ago?
Okay.
But they were brothers. Fathers and sons, brothers, they do die together. when you work in industry. It's a high possibility.
Yeah.
And Rob and I don't want that.
That's wise.
So
right.
Keep us separate. Keep us on different crews.
Yeah.
Because the chances of something happening on this end and on that end are a little less.
Yeah, right.
You know, so if we're not standing right next to each other, the chances of something bad happening are lower.
Wow. Well, so obviously you are still working, so you did not retire, you didn't do any kind of buyouts. There was no plant closing, there was nothing significant there. But in closing, is there anything else you would like to add about your working life and what you experienced, maybe as a mother, as a woman, or just as a worker in general even? Just anything else?
So I didn't realize that the skilled trades were an option for me. Mm-hmm. I fell upon it by total accident. Mm-hmm. Later on, you know, because no one talked about what Grandpa did or what Uncle Dick did, but honestly, looking back historically, I come from a long line of tradesmen. I have 2 great uncles that were pipe fitters in the Navy. On my dad's side, they all worked in the steel mills. Now Uncle Nick became an engineer, but Grandpa started out as labor in the steel mill. And
one of the local ones here by chance?
Yeah,
okay.
Republic Steel.
Oh, okay.
And that is where my genetic working roots are. No one really talked about it, and no one really said, you could go work at one of those places. You could be a welder, Rose. How about why don't you try it? So many of us when we're young, we're disillusioned. We don't know what we want to do with our lives.
Right.
And it's true for young men and young women. Mm-hmm. So guess what? You can't have technology without industry. Mm-hmm. They are symbiotic. Mm-hmm. All right? You're going to have kids that are going to have to go and get a college education and go into that technology route, and they're going to have to go. You're also going to have kids that are going to just have to learn how to do the work. Yeah. And get it done. Mm-hmm. And there are so many kids that are more tactile. I know one young man, he's just a junior, but he went to MCCTC for their welding program. His grades all of a sudden are, went from like kind of a mix of A's, B's, couple C's to all A's and B's. Mostly A's. Why is that? He was in high school and he's doing all right, but then he joins the trade end and he starts doing amazing. What changed? Well, their classes are more centered around what they're doing. Their math is related to the pipe fitting and the welding, or the welding and the machining that they're doing. Mm-hmm. Their math is related to what they're tactily doing. Their English, their grammar, their writing. He wrote a paper on the safe handling and use of oxyacetylene tanks. And he got an A on it.
Yeah. Why?
Because he was writing about something else he was learning that he was really interested in.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not that he did poorly his freshman and sophomore years. Just everything wasn't tied together so cohesively the way that they are in the trade school.
Right.
And now he's doing something he really, really loves. He told his mom over Christmas break he started to miss welding. He loves it. He loves it. And I love that he loves it.
Yeah.
And he's going to be great at it. Mm-hmm. I am so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
And it's probably my son.
Well, we're almost done, as a matter of fact. But this is pretty much the last question.
No. We need people to build things.
Yeah. And that's true.
And I don't care if you have a son or if you have a daughter. Don't automatically assume that you want to pay the $20,000 or $30,000 a year for university. See about tech. See about trades.
Right.
Because we still need those positions filled. Our country is short, probably about 40,000 welders right now. Like, we need 40,000 welders today.
Whoa. Oh, my land.
This battery plant that we're building?
Yeah.
Okay, they're building another one in Tennessee. Are those going to be the two plants that produce batteries for America?
Right. No.
Is that going to be enough?
Huh.
Okay, so they're building another chip plant in Columbus to satisfy our technological needs. Are 3 chip plants going to be enough?
Makes you think.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to start making things again. We need to start building things again. And yes, there is something to be said for the scholars and the lawyers and the doctors. They make our country run too. Right. Only those good paying, middle class, blue collar jobs, we see what happens when they leave. Right. Look out the window, see what happens when they leave. Okay, so we need them back here, 20 years ago, and and we can get them back now. I mean, right now, I have been on more projects than I did in the first 10 years of my career. In the last 8 years, I have been on more projects than my first 10. We are really in a building boom in America right now. There are so many projects going on, from powerhouses to the chip plants to upgrading EPA standards on existing plants. There's so much work right now, and I want to keep it going. I want to see more things built. Yeah. Because not only is it good for my pocketbook, but it's good for the morale of the country. Yeah. And it's great. Yeah. I love it. But again, we need our sons and our daughters to go build it too.
Yeah. So you're actually looking to probably still keep on working for the next 20 years?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Probably in this area alone, I'd probably say there's 7 to 10 years worth of work. Just within an hour drive.
Oh, wow.
Within an hour drive, there's probably 7 to 10 hours worth of work. Or 7 to 10 years worth of work. I'm sorry. But again, when the work dries up here, I'll pack my bags like I did. And I'll go traveling again. And that'll be okay too. Yeah. Because as much as I love waking up in my own bed, I did love traveling. Yeah. I loved seeing our country. It is amazing. Yeah. It is amazing. And I found out every city in America is the same.
Oh yeah?
It really is. And Frank Naples from over at Franco's, he told me this. I was 18. I was running away to Jacksonville, Florida. He's like, Rose, what's in Jacksonville that isn't in Youngstown? Why you got to run away from home like that? And I'm like, oh, Jacksonville, it's an up-and-coming city. I mean, there's lots of things to do and see out there. And he's like, Rose, Jacksonville's just like Youngstown. You got time, money, and energy to do things where you don't.
I see.
And I didn't realize how true it was.
You have to experience it sometimes, though, just to know that it's true.
I went out. I was in Belleville, Illinois. I was driving out there. And I stayed at the state park because I couldn't afford a hotel. But I had an unemployment check and a van full of gas. And I'm coming into this town, and you'd see Busch, Miller Lite, Budweiser. And these were the lit up signs outside of these bars. And there was like 5 bars down this strip on this drag on this road. I didn't see a name of the bar. Like, you know how you have like Irish Bob's Pub? Yeah. No, I just, Busch? What? And it was kind of dead. And I'm like, man, I thought Youngstown was podunk. But no. But then I was there for a couple weeks, and I'm looking around, and there were some great little places. There were some great little shops, local businesses, chains that we don't have here. There was a little community college. There's the state park, which is, oh my God, it was so beautiful. The lake was amazing. But I'm like, wait, this is just like Youngstown.
That is so funny.
There are some really, I mean, if you go and you look into it, and there are some really great things here.
There really is.
And really is. Every town in America is the same.
You know what? I'd have to agree with you. I did some traveling, so I get what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, New York might have more and taller. It's a little different. It might be unique to them, but it doesn't make anything that's in the Mahoning Valley any less.
Yeah.
And so when I transferred my book to Youngstown, Ohio, I needed to come home. And this is my home. And I'm proud. I am so proud of it. I am proud of this town.
Me too.
When the work dries up, and you know some of those good middle class jobs leave, we stayed. There was some flight. Our population is a whole lot less than it was when the industry was booming.
Yeah.
Only, you know what? We're still here, and we're still making it. We're still making it work. Because, you know what, I think it is true. It is cliche, but Youngstown did invent grit. I have the t-shirt. It is a true story. And I love it. And we do have a good union presence in our valley, which is what I think maintains it afloat. And yeah, and I love being part of my union, and I love building things.
That's good. So, fantastic.
Thank you.
No, thank you. This was a great conversation. Man, we could just keep going for all I care. Actually, when I turn this off, I am going to talk to you more.
So what other kind of questions do you have?
That's really it.
Okay.
I mean, because I was going to ask about the accidents. You did that. You talked about your local union immensely. That it was, I feel like, is irrelevant. And no, you already kind of like handled that too. Yeah, no, this is it. This was the standard. Thank you so much, Rose.
I'm so glad I was here.
I am so glad.